Rece Davis is with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. ESPN Game Day host. What is up, Rece? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys today?
Doing fantastic, man. Thanks a lot. Rematches are tricky. Everybody loves this stat now that the 5 times it's happened with top 5 teams, nobody swept. I mean, the team that lost the first one won the second one. Do stats like that you think matter? I mean, there's a history for a reason, I guess.
I don't know. I can't tell you why they do, but I think they do. It's sort of like the thing that we were talking about with why does the underdog tag work over and over again? It really shouldn't. If you keep telling, like in the first match, Alabama's touchdown underdog or whatever they were going in, why in the world should that matter to Georgia's mental approach? And why should that impact their performance? Now, let me back up and say this. I think it is the height of foolishness, all of the people I've heard saying that, Georgia, they were, they knew they were in the playoffs, so they weren't on edge. That might have been true if they were playing Texas A&M or LSU or Auburn. There is no way that is true against Alabama with what Alabama has done to them. So, I do think that maybe the opportunity to get back, especially if maybe top to bottom you're the better team, more talented team like Alabama, and all due respect to that really good LSU team in 2011, Alabama was better than them. They should have won the regular season game, and then they dominated the championship game. So it remains to be seen if we're in a situation like that, because Alabama is the best player on the field in Will Anderson. They have a Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. Everywhere else, with the exception of position here or there, you could probably say Georgia has either the edge at the position or the edge in depth at the position, and you will see if we'll see if that holds up on Monday night.
Before the SEC championship, Georgia had won 11 straight by at least 17 points. How surprised were you at how Alabama-Georgia Part 1 played out?
It's the only time since Nick Saban's first season in 2007 that I've ever been legitimately surprised that Alabama won a football game. There have been times over the years when you say, well, certainly, this is a toss-up game or this team can beat them or whatever. And I was surprised because of the matchups. I didn't think that Alabama's offensive line could handle Georgia's defensive line. I was surprised they won the game. So, I guess from that standpoint, that makes it a little bit different than anything else. And I still think that one aspect of the game that will be in question on Monday night is Georgia's mental state playing Alabama. Now, they can deny it all they want to, but it's a fact. I mean, if Georgia with a 10-0 lead stops Alabama on third down, gets the ball back and scores in the SEC championship game, goes up 17-0, game's over. Instead, Bryce hits Jamison Williams on long touchdown pass and a crossing pattern. He outran everybody, and Georgia came apart like a $59 suit after that. So can Alabama put a little pressure on them, make them doubt, and who makes adjustments going into the game as well?
$59 suit takes me back to my early TV days up at NBC 13 in Birmingham. JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Rece Davis of College Game Day. You were down in Miami. Kirby says that they had their own game plan the first time around. Is he playing a mental game with his team, or does he really truly feel like they made tactical mistakes in their planning for Alabama?
It probably does. I mean, I'm going to be interested to see how much man coverage they play against Alabama this time. It'll probably be a little bit different without Mechie in the game. He played a good chunk of it, but wasn't even there for the whole game the first time. But the numbers are pretty loud in how much more effective Alabama's offense has been against zone coverage than against man coverage. And then I think they'll see if they can find a way to beat the offensive line and put some more heat on Bryce. Now they blitzed some a fair amount the first time, but I'm not sure if it blitzed as much as it's just getting pressure and locking up the receivers and not giving him many throwing windows. On the other side of the ball, I don't really know what they're going to do differently because while Alabama doesn't necessarily have the big run stuffers in the middle that they've had in years past. But Arian Mathis has been terrific, and nobody's really run on them. So if Georgia, comes out with a game plan like they're just going to run the ball on them, that would surprise me as well. I think what Georgia has to do is, the old adage, be balanced, but trust Stetson Bennett and hope that this time he doesn't, have the 2 or 3 catastrophic mistakes. He had 3 of them against Alabama the first time and only got away with one of them, the one that Battle dropped that should have been a pick 6, and then later he did indeed get a pick 6. So, I think I've been on record for a long time. I think Stetson's a really good quarterback. I think he's their best quarterback, and I think he's good. He's not just kind of good. He's a good player, and people might as well acknowledge that. He hasn't played his best in the games against Alabama, and his best will be needed Monday night if Georgia's going to win the national championship.
ESPN's Rece Davis is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Do you get the feel that Pete Golding is doing his best coaching? We asked that as a poll question. A lot of Alabama fans agree. Some did not. But, boy, it feels like Pete's always going to have some detractors. You know that, Reese. But it feels like he's doing
it. Is he the defensive coordinator at Alabama?
Yes.
Yeah, well, then he's going to have some detractors.
That's right.
That's like in the job description. That's when they give them the contract. That's it. That's in some of the type at the beginning. There will be lots of complaining. Ignore it. But unless the complaining comes from the guy in the straw hat, then listen to that.
But that's the one guy that has stood behind him. Now, look, I mean, Nick Saban's going to throw out some butt chewings no matter how good you are on the sidelines, but Saban has always stood beside this guy.
Yeah, look, the stats stand up. They're doing a really good job. I think sometimes they play such elite defense historically for the old school, old generation fans, and then certainly in the early days when the game was different of the Saban era, that they expect it to be, 09, 2011, or even 2016, which was, an elite defense. And even through 80 plays of the Clemson game was an elite defense until they sort of wore out. But it's not that, and those defenses are rare. And even the 16 defense, even by that evolutionary period in college football, they give up more yards, more points, than they had in 09 and 11 and those defenses. So the game's different. You're going to give up some shot plays every now and then. And I do think that while Will Anderson, maybe he's not yet in Derek Thomas category, but Derek Thomas is the only player in my entire life on Alabama defense that I would see that you could even make the argument that's better than Will Anderson. So they've got an elite guy there, but they have some questions in the back end. They have good players back there, maybe not necessarily all-time great players back there, and so you're going to give up some plays. But I think Pete's done a terrific job, and the stats bear it out. And, holding Georgia down the way they did the first time, and and there were a few games this year where the defense, won the game. I mean, look what they did against Auburn when Auburn crossed them up defensively and the offense couldn't get anything going. Auburn didn't do anything on offense. I mean, I know Auburn wasn't a great offense, but I mean, that's a high-pressure game. One bust in that situation can cost you the game, and they just didn't do it.
Rece, I asked this question the other day, but I really wanted to get your answer because both are amazing. But what's more surprising to you, the fact that Nick Saban has been in Tuscaloosa 15 years now, or the fact that he is going for his 7th national championship on Monday night?
The latter. Because I think that sometimes Nick's reputation of hopping around was, a little bit ill-deserved, and he brought some of it on himself with the Dolphins, and all of that's been played ad nauseum. I'm not going to be the Alabama coach, but he stayed at LSU 5 years. He was at Michigan State 5 years. That's fair enough. That's long enough. And so I'm not really surprised that he's had some longevity there because of where you're going to go. I mean, if you're a college football coach, where are you leaving that place for? With the support you get and the facilities that they've been able to put in place and the commitment from the upper reaches of the university all the way down to the fans in Guin, there's an alignment of support. Where are you going to go? But going for 7 national, that's absurd. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. It's absurd that in the BCS playoff era, his teams are about to play in the championship game for the 10th time. What's even more absurd is he's won 7 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time you get to that point, you're 500. And if you're 500 in championship games, that's great because you're playing another championship team. This dude's 7-2. You know, he's trying to be 8-2. It's kind of remarkable, and to me, that is by far more surprising than the fact that he's had great longevity at Alabama.
I don't want you to leave without me asking you about Lou Holtz. Yesterday was his birthday, and
I think today is.
Is it today? Okay, today's his birthday, and you're closer to Lou. I've never really talked to him.
I would go with Rece on this one. Yeah.
I just know somewhere it's his birthday, yesterday or today. So I'll go with today. But I used to love watching you guys on the football final on Saturday night. Do you still talk to him? How's Coach doing? And do you have a good Lou story for us or anything like that?
Yeah.
I love Lou Holtz.
Yeah, I do. Actually, I texted with him this morning, and I talked with him on the awards show because he got a contribution as the college football award. And I speak with him pretty regularly, and in fact, we're going to try to get together in a few weeks and have lunch. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in person for the first time in a while. We talk regularly. There are a lot of stories. Probably the one I did just post on Instagram is actually a true story. He doesn't drink water, which is crazy. he drinks a lot of Diet Coke and drinks other things, stuff, but he just doesn't really care for water. And so I had a photo that I put on Instagram. It's the only known photo of Lou Holtz drinking water. He had to swallow some medicine or something one night and final and actually drank it. But we pulled up to the Langham Hotel in Pasadena covering the Rose Bowl one year. And I think it was probably Alabama-Texas national championship game. So he and Mark and I were together, ridden in from the airport together, and we get out, and it's a really nice hotel, and the guys there that offer to help with your luggage, they also have a bottle of water with them. So the guy runs up to him as soon as Lou gets out of the car, and he says, "Water, sir?" And Lou looks at him without missing a beat and said, "I don't drink water, I bathe in it. Water has no taste, and if it does, it's not good for you." And he walked towards the guy. The guy's just standing there holding the bottle of water like, what just happened? And meanwhile, Mayday and I are just howling.
I don't drink water, I bathe in it.
Water has no taste, and if it does, it's not good for you.
It sounds like the King of England or something. I don't drink water, I bathe in it, you peasant. All right, he is Rece Davis. You'll see him from Indianapolis. We'll all be there at Rece Davis on Twitter as well. Rece, it is always fun, man. We thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
You too. Take care. Rece Davis with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.